Welcome back to Franchise Tagged. I'm Elijah. That's Gabe. And today we're going to be going through some of these questionable slash not questionable comments that we got during this mock draft off-season period. Want to just quick preface, we're not trying to dunk on anybody with these. We don't get many comments, so please don't let this stop you.
Keep them coming.
We appreciate all comments, but this is just to kind of have some fun with the opinions people have during the smoke screen season of the off season when, it kind of gets the best of us and we aren't so much in the heads of actual GMs thinking about the draft. We're just kind of spitballing with the misinformation that we are dealt.
I mean, yeah, like just to kind of reconcile this, we had Troy Franklin going in the first round in multiple mock drafts.
So many, yeah.
Like there's so many things we had I think Penix falling out of the first in a couple of them and he went at 8. There's nobody knows anything that's going on in drafts, but
I went ahead and I divided this up into a incorrect and a correct comment section. So something that was correct and we kind of weren't projecting that, or maybe we were and they just happened to agree with it. But we're gonna go through this, bouncing between those two, and I think we can kick off with the most obvious one from Luke Can't Fly. It was on our first mock draft video, and he said, not way too early, because our title was way too early mock draft, and he was very correct with that assessment.
Yeah, it was before all the picks had been set, and that's what we considered to be way too early.
Mm-hmm.
When I was making that title, I failed to realize that people say that when they make mock drafts immediately following the draft.
The year prior.
So like if we were to make a 2025 mock draft, that would be a way too early mock.
Yes.
But it was too early for all the picks to be set. So
yeah, we can recognize that Luke Can't Fly kind of dunked on us with that one. He was correct.
just a little bit.
Next up, we have from My Blendin 4865. The Chargers cap situation is so bad right now, they more than likely need to trade Mike since he's almost 30, and they're giving two 30-year-old wide receivers $30 million. Edge rushers are too important for them to move off of. This was prior to the Chargers blowing up their wide receiver room. He got the wrong wide receiver to be traded, but both left the team, and he was dead on with the fact that they weren't going to move off of any of the highly paid edge rushers. So, I mean, this guy, he knew what was up prior to anybody else, it seems.
Yeah, they traded Keenan, sure. Obviously, and yeah, they traded Keenan to the Bears and then cut Mike Williams. But yeah, he spot on that paying the older receivers was not something that they could, keep up with, and that the edge rushers were more important. And I think something that goes along with that edge rusher thing is Khalil Mack taking a pay cut. So
yeah,
if one of the receivers had offered to do that, I'm sure they would have kept them. But yeah, let's move to one of these incorrect ones. Starting off with VMI 4172 saying, why the fuck would the Giants take a wide receiver when we don't even have a quarterback? Hopefully May will be there for us. If not, we need to take Daniels. This was on one of the earlier ones, correct?
Yes.
Like this was on one of the ones before we thought QBs go top 3.
Yeah, this was, these are all in order of chronologically. So the ones that we're going to be getting to later were closer to the draft. Yeah.
Okay. So this, I would assume we had them taking Neighbors or Odunze.
Yes. Yep.
We had them taking one of those two. And to be fair to him, I think that looking at the board, no Daniels, no May, probably happy you didn't take JJ, because it strikes me as the kind of guy that would really not want JJ McCarthy either.
He has very strong opinions. I can gather from that. Yeah.
Let's move back to the correct ones. And this was, so just for some context, this is by Dream Conundrum before Justin Fields got traded. And he said, if the Bears fall in love with the QB prospect, I could see Fields being dealt. This was not like a super hot take or anything. This was pretty common knowledge that it could happen, but he did call it.
Yeah. It was on one of those early ones where I believe it was probably the no trade where we had Justin Fields sticking and they got Marvin Harrison Jr. And I think that there's kind of a nice segue into that from that same video, an incorrect comment here by Jim Baker 5110. LMAO, a wide receiver as the number 1 overall. Losers. Guys seriously need to get a clue. And Jaden Daniels isn't even good.
Okay, all right, real
We just got
quick.
to break down piece by piece.
This could be all correct because the wide receiver did not go number one, and maybe Jaden Daniels is trash. You never know. But this was definitely on the mock where we didn't have trades and we believed in Justin Fields. So a receiver was going one was a no brainer. It was either alt or a receiver, and we definitely liked the receiver more than alt. And then at the same time, right, we had Jaden Daniels falling to like 8.
Yeah.
So so saying that Jaden Daniels isn't top 8 is a little bit out there. But
Yeah, for sure. Oh man.
you could, you know what, Jim Baker, you could be right. You could be spot on, bullseye, but I don't see it.
Yeah, we are losers, and we can get a clue. I think that's moral of the story here.
That much is clear. Yeah.
Next up, I have one that is a correct comment, but equally demeaning of us, and that is by Robert Carroll 637. Why would the Bucks trade out of the first round? Stupidity. It's just a mock draft, my guy. We did 7 of them. It happened in one mock draft. You didn't have to go after us like that, man.
But he was right. The Bucks did not trade out of the first round.
Yeah, I can't put him in the incorrect comments just because he was mean. He was actually correct. So
I also feel like, just in our defense, interior O-line was not super highly valued very early in the process. So Graham Barton was not a first round guy for us,
yeah.
at least in that mock. So they could have traded out of the first and gotten him in that second round at that mock. So
no, stupidity.
Stupidity. My bad. Sincerest apologies, Robert Carroll 637.
You want to take this next incorrect comment?
Next incorrect one, yeah. This is by, we'll just call it Kev. We'll be
Who
putting
you are.
the screenshots of the comments up on the screen next to us. Jaden Daniels gonna pull an Eli Manning and tell teams don't draft him because I don't want to play for you, and the Raiders gonna get him. AP working behind the scenes. Watch. Meanwhile, the only team with a question mark at QB that walked out of the first round without a QB drafted was the Raiders.
Yeah, kind of a bold take. I'll give it to him. He really pulled that out of thin air. But every aspect of it was incorrect.
Every single part of it. He didn't pull an Eli Manning. He didn't tell teams not to draft him. But right before the draft, it would seem as though he was telling teams not to draft him because of the controversy that came up about his visit to the Commanders.
With the Commanders.
But apparently it didn't even do enough there to make them not take him. But I like this comment a lot. And this is by Broad Nerd Mike 6450. I think the tackles will fly off the board a lot faster, and the pass rushers may be less so, but we shall see. I'm worried with even 5 to 7 great tackles in round 1. The Steelers still may not get one. He was spot on with tackles flying and with D-line and edges kind of slipping a little bit.
Yeah.
Absolutely spot on. But that being said, the Steelers got Troy Fontenot, so not a big issue of them.
But his
one.
Concern was valid. He did.
Yes,
he did get a 2-for-1 with that comment for sure.
Yeah, he had the script for sure.
And then I will take this incorrect comment, and then I'll let you take that last incorrect comment we have right below it. But by Hog Row Ib 1Z7 ZV. May isn't going number 2. I doubt if he gets drafted top 5. Correct and wrong, same time. He did great there. He did not go 2. That is correct. He was wrong to doubt if he was going to get drafted in the top 5 because he had quarterback 1 upside if Caleb wasn't in this draft class.
Yeah. Back to the correct comments. We've got RutDog265 saying, don't really see Ortiz drafting 2 offensive weapons out of the first 2 picks. Definitely will be drafting an offensive line or defensive player with one of those picks. Right and wrong. He did draft Ladd McConkey with the 2nd pick. But he was right. They did draft O-line. This, I think, was just my personal hoping that they would surround Justin Herbert. Sorry, with talent. I started saying surround Justin with talent, and I've
And
been saying that about Fields for a full 2 years.
uh-huh.
So just
Plug and play that one in there, huh?
yep. But yeah, he was right. They did draft big O lineman at 5, and this was in a mock where we had them trading back with the Vikings, so it would have been at 11 and 23. So
Yeah.
right,
Yep.
okay.
You got it dead on, brother. And I will take
It's
this.
Bowers and Adonai.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
We got a
All
little
right.
crazy with some of these, all right? We'll admit. We'll be the
Yeah, we
first to
did.
admit. And then I'll take the final correct comment we have before you round us off with the final incorrect comment. And that is by Big Ideas the Scholar. Banger name, let's say. Uh, and it's quote, I'm glad you guys chose wide receiver for the Chiefs because I feel like they're able to continually improve that wide receiver room. They will see themselves as unstoppable. Obviously, they'll want to improve other positions where they can, but I think their mouths are watering for more wide receiver options. It's
Spot
something
fucking on.
it's something that's not a outlandish thought, but he did still say it, got it dead on, and I think with the player they got specifically, their mouths are even more so watering.
And I think that just to further it, because they already had a speedster, they added Marquise Brown,
Mm-hmm.
and he is that, speed is his thing.
Yeah.
And so adding another one is just their mouths watering for more weapons.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is. It's not need entirely. It is a small amount of need and a lot of what if.
Yeah. For sure.
And then we do have some honorable mentions. Do you want to do those before or after we go with this final wrong comment?
I think that this last wrong comment does need that little drum roll of honorable
Okay.
mentions. So I think we'll get through these honorable mentions here. I want to start off with the honorable mention to Josh Benzo. He subscribed. He had a great comment. He appreciated the content. Hey, I'll take that. Next up was 3 hour 830. He was kind of one of the first comments that we had a back and forth with, and that was regarding the Seahawks needs, which we had mentioned in our mock draft. We kind of had a struggle finding a need for them specifically, and he kind of gave us that initial insight to kind of dive deeper and look into those positions of need. So that was much appreciated there.
Yeah, and then the last honorable mention is to STE_Venegas. He gave us some insight on the Cardinals' needs. We'll have the exact comments posted right next to us,
Yeah.
so you'll see what we're talking about. But we currently do not see the comments, so we don't know what we're talking about. But I believe this was the one where he was talking about everybody mocking tackle to the Cardinals when they
Yeah.
really just needed receiver help.
Yeah.
And he was not only spot on with what they needed and what they drafted, but also very helpful. And both the 3 hour 830 and STE were both very respectful and helpful. Not y'all are stupid and need to get better. This is not what this team needs. It's
Stupidity.
I've seen this a lot, but I disagree. It was a polite disagreement,
Yeah.
which is always appreciated.
Yeah. Don't y'all remember your online etiquette classes? Come on.
And then the final incorrect comment. This is a good one. This is a high quality comment
This is top tier.
from Wabash 1975. Sam Howell threw for 3,946 yards. Anyone saying that Washington needs a new QB has rocks in their head. He was sacked 65 times. Get this man some offensive line help. Washington was last in rushing attempts, and Brian Robinson Jr. was tied for 32nd in total rushing yards for 2023. A new QB isn't going to fix the problems Washington has. He could be right.
He could be
Could
right.
be spot on.
I do want to point
but
out.
they traded Sam Howell.
I do want to point out he misspelled Washington not once but twice. Did
he really?
Washington.
Oh my God.
And
he said Washington, didn't he?
While he could be correct, I think that the part that really stood out to me was the rocks in our head. We've known that he didn't need to include that. That's been known.
Old news.
Yeah.
Facts.
But this did not come to fruition. He was very wrong. Maybe the quarterback doesn't solve the problem, but somehow is out of there. He's shipped. And seemingly the GMs did not agree with Wabash in 1975.
I also think that Washington being last in rushing attempts and yards can definitely be solved by adding the best rushing threat at quarterback in the class in Jaden Daniels. I almost said Jaden McDaniels. Shout out the Timberwolves. Uh, but yeah, there's
Got a McRib to go with that.
a takeaway from this video. Throw us your predictions. You could be spot on, and you could be just the most foolish person ever. We love all of these comments equally. Maybe some of the honorable mentions a little bit more than the correct and incorrect comments. But if you're spot on, it gives us as much like joy and pride as if you're just so far off that it's comical.
Yeah.
Both of them are wonderful, and we love reading both of them. So
Yes.
definitely keep those comments coming.
And no extra shade to the people that call us idiots. We agree. We're right there with you. All right.
There is plenty of high quality content by very smart individuals. That is not what we bring to
No.
the table, nor will it ever be. You are here because we have rocks in our heads and we talk about football, okay?
Shout out Brett Coleman. All right.
Shout out Brett
You want
Coleman.
something smart? Go there. All right. You're
Yeah,
in the
go
wrong
follow
place.
him for high quality content. This was just a short little video. Just wanted to kind of reflect on mock season. That was the mock drafts were our videos that kind of propelled us into getting some more viewers and subscribers, and just the draft content in general, not necessarily just the mocks. So we are very grateful for everybody who has reached out, commented, liked, subscribed, viewed, everything like that. And keep the support coming. We've got a couple of ideas for some off-season content that'll keep the train running, but we will be laying off the gas a little bit.
Yeah.
It was pedal to the metal
For that final draft push, for sure. Yeah.
for that final week. We were cranking content, but yeah, deuces.
Deuces.